Namaskar. I am Advocate B.R. Bornak. The topic of my today's lecture is the Maharashtra Cotton Procurement Monopoly Scheme. ज्याला आपण मराठीमध्ये कापूस पुरवठा एकाधिकारशाही म्हणतो आपल्या राज्य सरकारची. दॅट इज द महाराष्ट्र कॉटन प्रोक्युरमेंट मोनोपॉली स्कीम. Now, this scheme was implemented by the government of Maharashtra. Before going to see about the scheme, let us have a look on background behind implementation of this scheme. If we consider India, in India total area under cotton cultivation is about 33%. Out of that 20% is in Maharashtra. Means 33% that cotton cultivation area is all over the India, and out of that in Maharashtra alone 20% area is under cotton cultivation. So this is the importance in Maharashtra of cotton cultivation. So previously the agriculturists used to sell cotton to private traders who used to exploit the farmers or cotton growers by giving very less price. Means cotton growing farmers earlier previously before this monopoly scheme, cotton growing farmers means the farmers agriculturists who were engaged in cultivation of cotton crop, they used to sell their cotton to middlemen, that is traders were there, and the traders were offering very less price. The agriculturists being in need of money, the traders used to take undue advantage of their necessity and ignorance about the market. Means these farmers, they were ignorant about the market, and these traders, they used to take disadvantage of the ignorance of the farmers and their condition, financial economic condition. By taking disadvantage of these conditions, these traders, they used to exploit the farmers, cotton growing farmers. Then what happened? Some Shetkari Sangatnas, means Union of Farmers, Shetkari Sangatnas, studied this problem of cotton growers and brought pressure on the government that there should be monopoly of the state government in purchasing cotton. Means government should interfere and government should establish monopoly in purchasing cotton, and there should be eradication of the middlemen. The government should declare support price for cotton. Means while purchasing the cotton, while establishing the monopoly, the government should every year before starting of every season, the government should declare the support price, that is guarantee price, and the government should open cotton collection centers where agriculturists can sell their cotton. Means in cotton growing areas, the government should open the cotton collection centers where the agriculturists, they can sell their cottons. Means with this these were main three demands of these unions of farmers. Further, agriculturists should become member of the scheme, and they should be given green card on which details about the area under cotton, variety of cotton, loan given to the agriculturists, his bank account number, etc. should be incorporated. Means the government should incorporate the green card system to each and every farmer involved in cultivation of the cotton crop, and in that green card there should be the details of the farmers, etc., farmers personal and bank details, etc. Cotton collection centers have to purchase the cotton and deduct the loan due from the members from the amount to be paid to him as per the provisions of the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960. Means the farmers, the cotton growing farmers, they used to take a loan from the cooperative credit societies at village level or from some banks. So when they go to sell their cotton to the cotton collection center, from the sale proceeds there should be system to deduct the loan amount whatever due from that particular farmer to that society or to the bank, and that should be remitted directly to the that society or to the bank. And there is specific provision in the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960 as well, which is called as a linking of marketing with credit. Means where marketing, from marketing whatever sale proceeds are received, they are linked with credit, means loan taken by the farmers, and at means at the place where he gets money by selling his by selling his produce, what sale proceeds he receives, he collects, from that particular percentage is to be deducted, and that is to be paid to that society or the bank from which society or bank the farmer has taken the loan. Then the Maharashtra, see, on the basis of these demands of these unions of the farmers, Shetkari Sangatnas, the Maharashtra Raw Cotton Procurement, Processing and Marketing Act was passed in 1971. Means this act was the Maharashtra Raw Cotton Procurement, Processing and Marketing Act 1971 was passed, which came into effect from August 1, 1972. Thereafter, the monopoly procurement of cotton scheme started in Maharashtra in 1972 with the enactment of this act. Initially, the scheme was declared for 10 years, but the scheme is given extension every year due to political pressure even after the period of 10 years. With the enforcement of this act, all private trading in cotton was prohibited, abolished, and the cultivation was given only means the cultivation activities, they were given under cooperative control. Means the cultivators, they were given only one option, to sell raw cotton to the Maharashtra State Cooperative Marketing Federation Limited, which was appointed by the state government as the sole buying agency for raw cotton in the state. That is the Maharashtra State Cooperative Marketing Federation Limited. And under this federation, many cooperative societies were formed under the Maharashtra State Cooperative Marketing Federation Limited, but unfortunately, these societies failed to perform effectively and efficiently. So, quite later in August 1984, a separate organization called the Maharashtra State Cooperative Cotton Growers Marketing Federation Limited was formed. The Maharashtra State Cooperative Cotton Growers Marketing Federation Limited means for this cotton growing farmers purpose, separate federation was formed. Earlier the federation was combined federation, but this federation, the Maharashtra State Cooperative Cotton Growers Marketing Federation Limited, was formed for implementing the monopoly cotton marketing scheme. Thereafter, the Maharashtra State Cooperative Marketing Federation is in complete charge of the operation of the scheme, that is monopoly scheme, the scheme regarding procurement, processing and marketing of cotton. Now this scheme is under full control of the Maharashtra State Cooperative Marketing Federation Limited. Now, what is the objectives of a cotton monopoly procurement scheme? Let us have a look on objectives of the cotton monopoly procurement scheme. First one, the objective was to give proper price to the cotton growers and encourage them to increase the cotton production. Second one, to eradicate the middlemen. Cotton growers have to give their cotton only to authorized cotton collection centers. Thereafter, linking of credit given to the cotton growers with marketing of cotton to ensure recovery of dues as per provisions in section 48A of the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960. Further, to supply the cotton collected at cotton collection centers to cooperative spinning mills in that particular area. Further, to encourage organization of cooperative spinning mills in the cotton growing areas, as they will get sufficient cotton at reasonable rate in the near vicinity. Then to give stability to the cotton market by declaring minimum support prices. Then to encourage handloom cooperatives to take cotton threads from cooperative spinning mills. Then to distribute the profits out of sale proceeds of cotton amongst cotton growers and cotton processing units pro rata basis. So these were the objectives of cotton monopoly procurement scheme. Now let us have a look on main features of the Maharashtra Raw Cotton Procurement Processing and Marketing Act 1971, under which act this scheme was implemented, launched. First, except with the previous permission of the state government, no person other than the state government or an officer or agent of such government authorized by it in this behalf shall purchase, sell, or store for sale or carry on business in raw cotton. Means there put restrictions on purchase, sale, store for sale, or carry on business in raw cotton. Means all after production of raw cotton, further all activities they were monopolized, controlled by the state government or the authorized persons or agents of the state government other than state government or authorities of state government or the agents appointed by state government. No one can carry out these activities as per the provisions of this act. Further, no owner or person in charge of a cotton ginning factory shall, except with the previous permission of the state government, gin or cause to be ginned in his factory, and kapas other than kapas to be ginned on government account. Means on ginning activity also, in ginning mills, in on ginning activities also there was a control of the state government only. Further, no owner or person in charge of cotton processing factory, in cotton processing also there put government restriction. No owner or person in charge of a cotton processing factory shall, except with the previous permission of the state government, press or cause to be pressed ginned cotton into bales other than such cotton to be pressed on government account. Means here ginning activity. Ginning means what? Cleaning the cotton and removing cotton seeds and cotton waste from the cotton and to make the cotton to purity. And pressing means to press this ginned cotton and to form its bales. Okay? See, all these should be done by the respective mills on government account only. Okay, then no person other than the state government shall, except with the previous permission of the state government, transport or attempt to transport the raw cotton from any place in the state to any place outside the state. Means there was a restriction on cotton transport as well. Means transportation of raw cotton should be under control of the government only, no any other person other than allowed by the government, authorized by the government, can transport the raw cotton in the state and outside the state. Further, uh, uh, these were the features, main features of the Act of 1971. Then, what infrastructure of the monopoly procurement scheme was established under this Act? Infrastructure to implement the monopoly procurement scheme. So, for the purpose of implementing the scheme, the Marketing Federation created three departments. This Marketing Federation, under which this scheme is implemented, controlled it created 3 departments. Number 1, procurement and processing department. Number 2, sales department. And number 3, finance and accounting department. Further, in order to operate the scheme, the entire cotton growing area in the state has been divided into 12 zones, each headed by a zonal manager. Means there are 12 zones in the state, and that each zone is headed by the zonal manager. Further, every zone is further subdivided into sub-zones. Means there are sub-zones also under one zone, and these sub-zones, they are headed by the sub-zonal managers. Further, every sub-zone has a number of procurement stations. Means under one zone there are number of stations to procure the cotton, to collect the cotton, to purchase the cotton. For a number of procurement stations depending upon the arrivals of kapas from the villages. Means on the volume of the kapas that comes from the villages, there are number of procurement stations. Further, for the administration of this act, a Maharashtra State Cotton Control Advisory Board was established. Means for the administration of this act of 1971, they established Maharashtra State Cotton Control Advisory Board, and the Minister of State Cooperation is the chairman of this board. Means he is the ex-officio chairman of this board. Now let us have a look on functioning of the cotton monopoly procurement scheme. Means how this scheme functions, how this scheme works. First, every cotton grower in the state has to tender his kapas. Tender means he has to sell his kapas at the cotton collection center only within his vicinity. Means raw cotton that is to be tendered to that particular cotton collection center. Then a green card is issued as the authorized identity card for the cotton growers to sell his kapas. Means green card is issued to every cotton grower. Then information in the green card, that is the area under cotton, the variety of cotton grown, the details regarding quantity of cotton sold, its value, and the recoveries effected from the value of cotton. All these details, they are mentioned on the green card. The green card is issued to the cultivators by the primary cooperative credit society of that village before the beginning of the season, irrespective of the fact whether he is a borrower or non-borrower of cooperative loan. Means this green card is issued to all cotton growers, all farmers who grow the cotton, irrespective of whether they have taken loan from the society or bank or not. These green cards are issued to all cotton growers. Then the cultivators bring their kapas to the cotton collection center in every season. Then and cotton collection center, the grader of the federation examines the kapas for its variety and grade. Then the kapas is then weighed by authorized women appointed by the agriculture produce market committee. Means this agriculture APMCs they appoint. Means these cotton collection centers, they are under control of APMCs, and they appoint their women, and they take the weight of the cotton, raw cotton. Then if the cotton grower is not satisfied with the variety or grade of cotton given by the grader of the marketing federation or the women made, he can make a complaint with the arbitration committee which settles disputes. Means if there is disputes about the variety or grade given to the farmer, to the cotton of the farmer, and of the weight and for the weight, if there is a dispute, then this dispute can be referred to the arbitration committee, where these disputes are settled by listening both the parties. Now then, mode of payment. When the cotton grower, that farmer growing the cotton, he goes to the cotton collection center and he sells his cotton, then in what is the mode of payment? See here, important thing, that is there is a guarantee price for cotton crop, and this guarantee price is declared for every season. Okay, the main feature of the Maharashtra monopoly cotton procurement scheme is the guarantee price for the cotton growers. Okay, the guarantee price fixed for a particular variety and grade of kapas is the same throughout the season and throughout all purchasing centers in the state. Then once this price is fixed, the cultivator is assured that he will receive it even if the federation is unable to sell at that price. Hence it is called the guarantee price. Means if there is less price in the market when the federation sells, it has no effect on the guarantee price. The farmer is bound to get the guarantee price declared by the government. The guarantee price for various varieties and grades of kapas is declared by the state government before the commencement of every season, requires the approval of the Cotton Corporation and the Government of India. Means before declaring this guarantee price to the kapas, that is raw cotton, the approval of the Cotton Corporation of India and the Government of India, that is that approval must be obtained prior to declaration of this guarantee price by the government of Maharashtra. The guarantee price cannot be fixed independently by the state government. Means without approval of Cotton Corporation of India and the government of India, government of Maharashtra cannot decide the guarantee price or declare the guarantee price independently. With effect from the 1981-82 season, a cotton coordination committee is set up to recommend the guarantee price of kapas to the state governments. Means to recommend the guarantee price to the state government from 1981-82 season, a cotton coordination committee has been set up, and on the recommendation of this committee, the state government, they take decision and with approval of the Cotton Corporation of India and Government of India. Now see, if this guarantee price that is bound to be paid to the farmer, and if this federation, marketing federation, in selling the cotton later on to the spinning mills, etc., if market price is less than the guarantee price, then to make this loss, there is created the price fluctuation fund to compensate the marketing federation. See, the price fluctuation fund is created so that in years when the financial price is less, that is market price for selling the cotton by the federation, marketing federation, that is final price is less than the guaranteed price, and hence there is a loss to the scheme, the payment of guaranteed price can be ensured by withdrawing from the price fluctuation fund. In that case, the amount of loss that can be withdrawn from the price fluctuation fund, and this loss is made good. So every year there is accumulation of amount in the price fluctuation fund. Now let us have a look on recovery of cooperative dues. The farmers, cotton growers, they take loan from the cooperative credit society at village level, also banks. They need to, in what manner these loans are recovered at the cotton collection centers. The recovery of cooperative credit societies and banks dues from the value of cotton payable to the producer at the time of sale at cotton collection center. According to the principle of linking of agriculture credit with marketing, and as per the provisions of Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act, that is 60% of the sale proceeds or 100% of the loan amount, whichever is less. Means this amount is to be deducted from the sale proceeds of the kapas, that is raw cotton, at cotton collection center. That amount deducted to be deducted, that is 60% of the sale proceeds or 100% of the loan amount, whichever is less, and that is refunded, that is paid to the cooperative credit society or the bank from where the loan has been taken by that cotton grower. The cooperative dues deducted are to be adjusted in the following manner. See, these 60% or 100%, whichever is, that is these dues are deducted, they are adjusted like this. Two-third of the amount deducted, that is adjusted against short-term and medium-term cooperative credit taken by the, means loan taken, short-term or medium-term loan taken by the cotton grower from the agency, from cooperative society or the bank. Okay, means two-third is of the deducted amount that is paid to satisfy short-term and medium-term loan, and one-third that is paid to satisfy the long-term loan taken from cooperative credit society or the bank. And in the case the short, medium and long term credit is fully satisfied by a smaller portion, the balance should be apportioned fully towards the dues of any other agency. See, the amount of 60% or 100%, that is whichever it is, that is deducted, and the short term, medium term or long term loan is of small amounts, then if any other dues are there of that cotton grower, of that cotton growing farmer, then these loans are also satisfied from the remaining or balance amount. Now, some remedial measures were suggested to make the scheme successful. What are those measures? Number one, cost of production and transport should be considered while declaring support price. Means in support price, there should be inclusion of cost of production and transport price. Then minimum and maximum selling price limits should be fixed to enable the cotton collection center to pay better prices for better quality of cotton. Means the price variation, minimum and maximum, on the basis of variety of the cotton, that should be fixed, minimum and maximum selling prices. Then grading of cotton should be done variety wise and quality wise. Cotton prices should be declared variety wise and quality wise. Then cooperative spinning mills must be compelled to buy cotton from cotton collection centers, for which they should be paid commission along with cotton collection centers. Means there should be compulsion on cooperative spinning mills to buy cotton, raw cotton, from the cotton collection center in their vicinity only, and for that the spinning mills, cooperative spinning mills, they will have to pay commission along with the price of the cotton to the cotton collection centers. Then cotton ginning and pressing cooperative societies should be organized in cotton growing areas. Means in cotton growing areas only there should be cotton ginning and pressing cooperative societies. Then cooperative marketing societies in cotton areas should be allowed to undertake cotton processing units. Means these cotton cooperative marketing societies are there, they should be allowed to undertake cotton processing units. Processing means that is ginning, pressing, spinning, etc. Then cotton seed oil crushing cooperative societies should be started as a part of the ginning and pressing societies. Means this ginning and pressing societies should be allowed to start to operate to cotton seed oil crushing cooperative societies. Means this cotton seed oil is there, that these activities should be allowed to ginning and pressing societies. Then cotton monopoly scheme should be made permanent features instead of waiting for extension each year, because every year the extension is required, because it was initially 14 years only. Instead of every year's extension, cotton monopoly scheme should be made permanent features instead of waiting for extension each year, to make sure to the cotton growers that the market for cotton is ensured. Means this scheme should be for permanent period instead of giving extension every year. So this was about the scheme of monopoly cotton procurement scheme implemented by the government of Maharashtra, and this was today's lecture. Today's lecture ends here. Thank you very much.